When Shanaz's father screamed in terror, pointing at the window and shouting, "That head is watching me," everyone ran to look, but there was nothing there except the faint sound of laughter in the dark. Today's story is about a real incident from Hyderabad, something that will leave you shaken and force you to question how deep and dark the supernatural world truly is. This story was shared by Shanaz. It happened around 20 to 25 years ago in her ancestral home in the Mulla Ali area of Hyderabad. When Shanaz was around 11 years old, her grandmother met a woman during a religious gathering. They became friends quickly since both belonged to the same hometown in Uttar Pradesh. That woman soon started visiting their house regularly. One evening, Shanaz's grandmother invited her to stay the night. Around midnight, the grandmother woke up and noticed the door slightly open. When she went outside, she saw that same woman sitting in the middle of the courtyard, digging the ground and burying something. When questioned, the woman calmly said she was just removing a thorn from her foot. The grandmother didn't think much of it and went back to sleep. The next morning, everything seemed normal, but soon after, strange things began happening. Shanaz's aunt, who was pregnant at that time, suddenly screamed one night, saying she felt something ice cold on her body, trying to be intimate with her. The terrified family sought help from an old spiritual healer. A strange ritual was performed at a nearby pond involving blood, chanting, and fire. The aunt survived, but the baby in her womb died unnaturally, and she could never become a mother again. Years passed, and the family tried to forget what had happened. Then came a time when Shanaz herself was 9 months pregnant. One afternoon, while sitting in the courtyard, she heard her father yell, "Shano, don't move. There's a huge snake behind you." When she turned slightly, she saw an enormous black cobra standing taller than her height, its hood fully spread. She screamed and ran, but the snake suddenly vanished into thin air like smoke. Later, during her third pregnancy, it happened again. While drying baby clothes, she saw another giant snake slithering between her feet, disappearing right in front of her eyes. The family started digging the courtyard to see if there was a snake hole. Instead, what they found buried deep in the soil froze everyone in horror. A human skull, broken into pieces in the same spot where the mysterious woman was seen digging years ago. The realization hit them like a storm that the woman had buried a severed head there, performing some kind of dark ritual that cursed their entire family. After that, their home turned into a nightmare. Shanaz's little son would point into empty corners, saying, "Ammi, look, Mayanam is standing there." He could see figures that no one else could. Then one night, Shanaz's father saw something that shook him to the core, a head hanging in midair, laughing at him. He screamed for help as his wife ran to the room, but by the time she reached it, the head had vanished. From that day, his health deteriorated. He kept saying he could see the same head near the window. Even Shanaz's son began pointing toward the same spot, saying he could see it too. Both grandfather and grandson saw the headless ghost that no one else could. Soon after, Shanaz's father died in her arms, crying, "That head is still watching me." Later, when Shanaz's mother was alone at home, she saw the same horrible head in her water bucket. It smiled at her and laughed, an inhuman, chilling laugh that echoed in her ears. She dropped the bucket and ran inside, reciting verses from the Quran until the laughter stopped. She never went back to that house again. Even after she moved in with Shanaz, she said she could still see blurred figures around her, shadows that whispered from the corners. And thus, the curse of the buried head continued to haunt them for generations.